You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
You know, Robert, we might need this phone.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to plug that in.
It is a call-in show, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Is that what tonight is?
We have to have watchers and we have to have callers. Hey, there's the watchers. The watchers just popped in there.
Thursday night, Beans and Dice podcast call-in show. Hey, folks, welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
And that's all you got for tonight, because
Yeah, so far
it is a holiday week.
So far, that's it. We have a few people who said they might pop in tonight, so we may have a few guest add-ins as we go along. But
Yep, for those of you that have the link to join the show as a guest, pop in anytime. There is no formality to the show.
Yeah, no.
So we will have guests popping in and out as we go.
Hopefully.
And I'm going to open up that phone line. Rob, let the folks know at home how they can get a hold of us and what we do here.
Definitely, yeah. So this is the Thursday night call-in show, which has been pretty exclusively what we've done here over the holidays. Haven't had much other content to put up, but we're hoping to change that in the next year. But anyway, Thursday night call-in show. We want to hear from you about what you're doing, what you're gaming, what you're playing. Doesn't have to be all gaming, anything nerdy related, geeky goodness. We want to just talk about what you've been up to, what you've been hearing, news, all that good stuff. So you can, when Carlos gets that phone line open, number will pop up on the screen. You can call in and just chat with us. Otherwise, we've got a few topics to talk about. Tonight is our last show of the year. So
Wow.
So we're going to hit a few things, but yeah.
This year flew by fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. So there's the number, 813-618-7099. Be the first. Be the quickest to the draw here.
Yeah, I have a feeling that our first callers, our dedicated first callers, are not going to be calling in today.
May not be the firsties.
Our buddy Mitch is still working performances.
I think he's still doing 3 of the 4 shows that he had lined up here for the end of the year.
If he was open, we'd have him on the show, but he's not.
Oh, for sure.
And then our buddy Ron Frazier is also on vacation this week.
He's been traveling, so he hit Louisiana, I believe, already. He hit New Orleans, and he's now in the Tampa area, and we're actually planning to meet up with him tomorrow night. He's going to head over here to studio. There's Ron on the chat.
In the chat, our buddy Ron.
Excellent. So he's planning to come over tomorrow to Carlos's house, and we're gonna do some gaming for sure tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to get more games to be able to put on the board. We're going to get more games to put on the board for y'all.
The big board.
The rack and stack board. I don't know what to call it.
We'll come up with something.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But Ron will be able to see the studio and see how honestly pathetic it is in real life.
Yeah, it's not as big as it looks on TV.
I remember when Wayne came over the first time, he goes, it looked a lot bigger on TV.
Nope, just a little cubby hole here in the house. So.
It's just one of the rooms, one of the small rooms in the house that wifey let me have. I tried to make it bigger by slowly incorporating gaming into the adjacent room.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But wifey caught on to
Cut
that.
that off pretty quick.
She
put the kibosh on that.
Yeah, negotiations had to restart, and I lost.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well,
but that's who we are. We are the Beans and Dice podcast. It's about how we game. That's our motto. That's what we do. Rob and I play board games. We are a couple of dads in Tampa, Florida area who play board games and enjoy talking to people about board games, which is why we do what we do.
For sure. Yeah.
It is the holidays.
It is. Yeah.
We just passed. We both celebrated Christmas.
Yeah.
We had gaming and we had gifts of gaming. So I think today we'll also talk about what we received, what we got, what we played, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, that'll be a good thing. That'll be hopefully interactive. People watching in or listening, type in or call us. Tell us what you got, what new games you have. There was a big Barnes & Noble sale.
Ooh, I stayed away from that thing.
I found myself running by there. I didn't pick up very much, but I picked up a couple things. So I ran by and did the Barnes & Noble thing, 50% off. What was it, the 2 days after Christmas or whatever? So that was pretty cool.
That's crazy. That was nuts.
Seeing people
the pictures that
all their stuff online. Yeah,
I think every board game group was inundated with just pictures and pictures and pictures of folks buying games from Barnes & Noble.
Yeah, hey, it's not bad. You have a reason to buy some more games.
It's not a bad thing, but man, it really kicks the FOMO in, doesn't it?
It was all over the place. Yeah. Luckily, at least my Barnes & Noble didn't have a huge selection, so it helped save my pocketbook. But I saw people going in there dropping $100-$150. So yeah, it's a thing.
Make sure our Christmas lights are up because we're still celebrating.
Okay.
Celebrate all the way through the 6th of January here at Casa Cabrera at Beans and Dice Studio, B for Bean. We celebrate all the way to the 6th of January, which is Epiphany, which is the day that baby Jesus got his presents. So we don't stop celebrating until baby Jesus gets his presents. Okay. So that's why the lights got to stay up.
Okay.
All right, Rob. Let's talk about 2022.
Yeah, last show of the year. So we got to touch back on the last year. So I told you I was going to hit you with a little bit of stuff, but I wrote down a few things. So I'll go first. But Just a little bit of thinking today during the day about the show and about being the last one of the year. What was the best new to you game? So this doesn't have to be a 2022 release. Just the best new game you can remember that you played this last year. And I did a little research again. I'll give you a minute to think about it. But I did a little research. I jumped on and went through my BGG stats and looked at all my plays that I logged. I know I didn't log everything I played. There was definitely times I missed stuff. And the two that kind of jumped into my head. Surprisingly, actually, it took me going back and looking through for it to really hit. There was no huge game that really stood out just in my memory, but when I went back and actually looked at the list of games I played, Wonderland's War. I don't think you've played that one yet.
No, I've seen it on the table, but I've not played it.
That's a game that as soon as I saw it on that list, and it's been, a while since I played it. It was in the first half of the year for sure. I played Nick Oben's copy. We were over at Your Turn, and we set up a day to have, I think he taught 3 of us to play, so we did a 4-player game. And that game really kind of jumps back in my mind when I think about it, and I want to play that one again before long. It's got all these different aspects to it. You've got a little area control where you're trying to control these different areas on the board. You've got kind of a rondelle action thing where you're moving around a rondelle to try to grab cards that do different things. Kind of hard to explain, but you're trying to beat people to different spots, moving around this rondelle. And everybody, it's asymmetrical, so everybody's got different power. So like one of the factions, I can't remember, gets to move counterclockwise around the rondelle when everybody else is having to go clockwise around the rondelle. So they're beating people to that back half of the goodies, and they're kind of over there by themselves grabbing everything up while everybody else is trying to work the other way around. And it's one of these deals that you can go as far as you want, but once you pass stuff, you can never go back and grab any of the old stuff. So you're kind of just moving around this rondelle trying to grab, either make all the stops and get just as much junk as you can, even if you don't need it, or you're trying to race out there to grab something that you really want and that you really need, and then maybe pass up a bunch of other things. But it's got a bunch of different mechanics. It's got bag building. You're putting chips in your bag for when you do the battles for the area control and things. You're pulling them out, and you just got to press your luck aspect. You can keep drawing, or you can bow out at any time. Everybody's grabbing a chip, putting their hand out, and then revealing whether they've got something or not. And when you don't, then you're bowing out of the battle. You're not always trying to win the battle. Sometimes there's advantages to just being in the battle or being, second place in the battle. There's a little track that gives you different rewards depending on how many chits you've pulled, how many points worth of chits you pulled. And so at some point you might just be going for some reward on the big board that if I pull 6, or I forget what it is, 6 or 8 or 10 points worth of chits before I bust, I can just bow out, lose the battle, but I still get some kind of reward that I was looking for. So it's really a mix match of a bunch of different mechanics and a bunch of different ideas. But it's really fun. It's got a lot of stuff in it that I like, and I'm kind of itching to play that one again. So we gotta set up a date for you to play that. Maybe Nick can teach it again since it's been a while since I played. But
I haven't heard you talk much about Wonderland's War.
I was gonna say
that's why I'm surprised to hear you say that.
One, after we played it, I liked it. I didn't love it, but now, like I said, that I've gone back and looked at it at the end of the year, I was like, wow. Okay, out of all the games I'm seeing on the list here, all the games I've played, that's one that really, I really want to go back and try again. So
you can count on Rich Yossi, our buddy Getty, to make sure we get our grammar appropriate and right. Area control, where you're looking to control areas.
Control areas?
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Your linguistics are awesome, Robert.
Exactly, that's what you do.
Beans and Dice Podcast, state your name, where you're calling from.
Hello, good evening, Merry Christmas, Happy almost New Year, gentlemen. This is Nick calling from downtown Tampa.
Hey, heard his name. He had to call in. Hey, Nick.
My man.
That's what it was. Yeah.
You heard me talking about Wonderland's War?
I did. Yeah, I love it. So I took little Miss Lindsay. Sorry I haven't called in for a while, by the way.
You're good.
Funny. I got into the habit of always calling in after axe throwing. And we haven't had axe throwing through the holidays, and I'm like, oh crap, there goes another Thursday.
But you had other sporting interests tonight. I know you were at the Lightning game.
That's right. Yeah, so I've got my hot date here, little Miss Z. Lindsay, say hi.
Hi.
Hi, Lindsay.
And she is a trooper and has a lot of fun at the games, but can only hang normally for about 2 periods. We go ahead and beat the crowds and head out.
Sure.
All good. No, but it gives me a chance to call in. Yeah, Wonderland's War is fun, and I will happy to teach you, Carlos, and we can play. That's another one. I agree that here, new to you games of the year. that's one that would be on the probably top 5 for me.
Top
that
5.
I would like to get back. Yeah, as far as new to me this year.
Yep.
Games that I played, that I, especially in the context of that I want to get back to the table because there was so much more. I've only played now twice.
Yeah.
I played 2 of the playable characters, and the story is neat. The lore is cool. I am a fan of that whole Alice in Wonderland thing growing up when we all did all the things. It's fine. But yeah, it's good. That's a good one.
Yeah, and the artwork in this one is something that's I don't hear people talk about a lot either. But it's the classic. Well, not so classic, but it's the Alice in Wonderland. But it's definitely a different take on it. It's a bit on the dark side for the art, and it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty unique.
Dark is the word that I would use. Like, and that's part of what is shied me away from the game. I look at the board, and it's very dark.
It is
Merchants
dark.
of the Dark Road, kind of dark.
I don't know if it's quite that dark. I mean, there's
brass on the night side, dark.
Yeah, maybe.
It's
a little bit.
Which it's kind of a turnoff for me. But it sounds like y'all found something here outside of the dark art.
Yeah, well, and it juxtaposes it with just like the world of Alice in Wonderland, which was always a little creepy, right? Like, it's a children's story, it is, but the Cheshire Cat is a creeper, right? And like Tweedledee and Tweedledum are funny, but also like weird in this off way. Where if you actually met people like that, you would back away slowly in public, right?
Sure.
Like, okay, you're not right. And so I think it embraces that aspect pretty well. But then it juxtaposes it with the bright pinks and reds and greens that are on the chips. And other parts of the board, and it is a pretty game. It's a pretty game. They definitely kind of leaned into that style and that artwork. The game itself came with like an art book and little mini posters you can hang up, which I did. I did put a couple of them in our gaming area because they knew that the art was eye-catching. It may not be, Carlos, for everyone, but it's a thing. It is distinct. That's cool.
Distinct. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's a good term. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's one we got to get to the table for Carlos. But yeah, go ahead. What's your big ones?
I'll use the artwork as a segue there because this is the opposite, the polar opposite of Merchants of the Dark Road or Wonderland Warrior. Tidal Blades. Tidal Blades. Talk about a bright, shiny, pretty, welcoming table presence there. It's all these aquamarines and blues and oranges, and it's a beautiful game. And this is one that the boys and I, in our Game a Day thing, which we are days away from completing, it's still going, by the way. I haven't given an update.
Awesome.
Still going. But Tidal Blades, this was one where we played it once. I don't know if you remember this, kind of towards the middle part of the year. So this definitely counts as new to me, but not necessarily new.
Right.
I think Tidal Blades is a 2020 title.
Probably,
maybe?
yeah. 2020, 2021 for sure, yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, new to us this year. And so we played it then 3 days in a row. And it's a fairly big, involved game. And for the Game a Day thing, normally we would only do big games on the weekend. But we liked this one a lot. We thought it had a lot of replayability, variability, and it was just fun. It's one of those, every time you take a turn, every time it's your turn, you're happy. You're like, oh, good, I get to do this cool thing. And then the dice roll keeps it kind of intense, and you can definitely have bad turns. But your turn is always neat, which I like a lot. So this one that we played it 3 days in a row, it was a clear kind of bright spot in our whole Game a Day experience, which was good.
This is one I don't think Carlos or either one of us have played, but this is one I definitely want to try sometime. So sometime we'll have to find a chance to get this one to the table as well, so you can teach it to me.
Listen, this right here just speaks to straight up my inconsistencies in life, because just like I said, Wonderland's War too dark, Merchants Dark Road too dark, didn't appeal to me. Tidal Blades never appealed to me because the artwork is just too dang bright.
Really?
Like, there's the inconsistency in how I live my life.
Apparently.
I gotta figure out what art style do I like. What is it? What art style actually draws me into a game?
I don't know. You got to think about that.
You know what's lame? It's probably Commands and Colors Ancients, like that GMT crappy looking, historical artwork that like make me say, ooh.
That's definitely distinct, unique.
We are different.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would just say, Carlos, if you want, I can set up a game of Memoir 44 and bring you right in.
There you go. That'll get you. That's the hook.
Hey, Crusaders, Thy Will Be Done. That's some awesome art. Like, I love that art style. I think I talked about it when I talked about the game. But both Tidal Blades and Wonderland's War, neither of them, their artwork never called to me.
That's funny.
It's got me rethinking my whole life.
That's the other last one, and then I'll let you guys get back to your show, and I can focus on driving. I'm not calling while driving.
Of course not.
On YouTube?
Don't do that. Yep.
Fine. No. But actually, it just made it to the table. Super exciting, and it is good. Endless Winter. We got Endless Winter to the table.
Okay.
What's wrong with this one, Carlos? What's wrong with the art on this one?
The artwork does not draw me in, right? Because it's very white. But I really, really want to play this game.
It's good.
Is it?
You are well. Yes. So it's good, and it's doesn't overstay its welcome, but is a fairly big game. And it's one of those where the defining characteristic is you don't have time to do everything. You have 12 turns, period. That's the whole game. Here, Carlos, speaking your language again, you like that deterministic end state, right?
Defined.
So
yep.
There are 4 generations, 4 rounds. Every round you have 3 turns, and that's it. But then it scales beautifully, so like you'd expect, your 12th turn is much bigger than your first turn, right? You're doing more. You have built up more powers and more to your deck. You can chain things and combo stuff, and it's a lot of fun. But it is a race. There's a number of races going on there. Real quick for folks that haven't seen it, it's a worker placement deck builder, which has become, I think, more and more a really, really bright combo, beautiful combo. Lost Ruins of Arnak does it. There's this other game based on Dune that some people like that does it. But the worker placement deck builder combo is at this point, I think, a really proven, nice combo of mechanics. And then within that, you use your deck and you use the worker placement to satisfy a number of different races. You're racing up the honor track or the idol track, or you're trying to do the best in burial ground area. You're trying to be the best hunter of woolly mammoths or saber-toothed tigers, or you're trying to just generate a point engine where there's this eclipse phase every round. At the end of every round, there's an eclipse that happens, and you can pour resources into making your eclipse phase better. And all of these things have a limited number of spots and a limited number of resources, and you can't do everything, but you have to do some of everything because the game is smart there. If you completely ignore any aspect, you get 0 points. It's one of those, like, there's a third place for points, but you have to have done something, right?
I like that. And there's a lot more games recently that are doing that where you can't
just
compete
for
that item, that point, that place, unless you've actually contributed to that race. You don't just default as third place.
Yep. So it's good. And for the one game we played was just the base game, but I actually just today unpacked all the expansions, and it's really nice as far as the production value goes. All of the expansions, if you did the Kickstarter thing, all the expansions came in their own mini box on the outside, but then they all fit into the base box. There's like a dedicated expansion compartment in the main box in one of the trays, the game trays, that holds everything in the expansion, all the expansions. So it's really cool. So I unpacked them all, and it looks like they're going to be really nice additions, but not overcomplicating. It basically adds a 5th kind of action you can take. It adds new cards to the animal deck or the tribe deck you can build your deck with, but nothing overwhelming, just kind of, I can see how this would be cool. But it was nice. It doesn't overstay its welcome, a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying worker placement deck builders that then scale really nice, which this does. There you go.
Nice. That's one you've obviously got to teach us. This is a pretty new release. This just came out for a lot of people just in the last couple of months, and so Carlos and I have not had a chance to play it, but lots of comparisons to, like you say, Dune and Arnak, which are games we both like, even though we like to club each other over the head about which one's better, but we both like both of those games. And so, although we are going to talk about Arnak a little bit later in the show, we had an experience with Arnak this last week.
Spoiler alert.
But in any case, this Endless Winters one we've got to try. I think we're both itching to play this one. So another one, we got to set up a date.
For me, the box art doesn't stand out to me. And I get it. The setting is a snowy setting, so it's mostly white. It doesn't stand out, but the card art in this game is amazing. Mihalo, that guy.
The Miho.
Yeah, the Miho does a great job of his character person artwork. Right, the people.
Yeah, it's so unique. That whole it's not Settlers. It's the was it the West Kingdom series or whatever he does all the art for. That.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very distinct. You know, it's him as soon as you see his stuff. Yeah.
Love it. Real quick, I promise I'll let you go, but I'll throw it out there as a reminder.
No, you don't have to go. We know nobody's calling. It's holiday
he's
week.
Driving, though. He's driving.
We've got like 8 people watching.
Okay, well, in that case, I'll throw it out there. It would probably also make my top 5 due to me, and hopefully it shows up somewhere on your list, Rob, as you were going through. I would expect you to actually, I almost thought you would say this, Sleeping Gods.
Yeah,
let's go.
That was one I looked at, and that's one we got. I told Carlos just a couple weeks ago. I said that both you and Dan have mentioned that game in the last month or so. That we need to get that tabled again. So we need to get back into that and at least finish our.
There's our rack, right? Yeah. Our rack and stack board of all the games that we've rack and stacked last month, and right next to it.
Yep,
Sleeping Gods.
Copy of Sleeping Gods right there on the shelf.
There.
Nick's copy of Sleeping Gods right there on the shelf.
Specifically Nick's copy of Sleeping Gods sitting on the shelf right there.
So another one we got to get scheduled and get that one done. So getting Carlos to finish any kind of campaign game.
It's here and I'm ready. Y'all just got to schedule days.
All right, let's do it.
All right, awesome. Sounds good. Well, in the new year, then we'll make it happen.
Yep, Nick, I'm still waiting for Frosthaven. I cry a little bit every morning when I get up, and it's not at my door yet. But seems like about half the world has their Frosthaven, and I don't yet. But anyway, I'm not bitter. I'm not mad. But I'm still waiting for that to come. So as soon as I get that,
Cephalofair, if you're listening,
yeah, you'll be getting the photos of that as soon as I unwrap it. So we gotta get that going as soon as it gets.
No, not Cephalofair. What's the name of the company?
It is Cephalofair.
Is it Cephalofair?
Yep.
Yeah. If you're listening right now,
Isaac Childress. Yeah,
Mr. Childress.
I know. I thought you guys were related or something. I mean, can't you pull strings?
I thought. I wondered if he ever went down the list and was looking to see all the Childers that are going to get theirs last, but I don't know. Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, I besmirched Gloomhaven, so he's like, not that channel.
That's what it is. So
cut those guys off.
Related to that. Okay, so you screwed me. I got you.
What's funny, Rob, is that these are the only 2 games you've ever kickstarted, right?
That is the only game I've ever kickstarted.
Think about the flavor it leaves in his mouth.
Yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
The taste of Kickstarter is just bitter.
Yep. No, the original Gloomhaven I bought off the shelf. That was a purchase after it came out. But Frosthaven, I was there like first day pre-order. Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's cool. Well, yes. Then, without sounding like too much of an welcome to Kickstarter, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I completely ignore the delivery dates of any of them. When they show up at my doorstep, when they show up, it's kind of like, oh, happy day, Merry Christmas, you know?
See, but if you're kickstarting 40 games,
so that's one
you're getting like one a week.
If I got one, I'm tracking it every freaking day. I'm on there looking, hey, what's the update?
It's like the one time you buy one, it doesn't show up. That hurts.
Yeah, it hurts.
You guys have a great night. I'm going to tune in and listen to your show as I
Hey, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, Nick.
Thanks for calling, Nick.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Nick, bringing up some good stuff and some wounds there. But anyway.
Through the chats, we saw some comments in there about the artwork.
Put them back up there if you want.
Oh, you threw them back up?
Yeah.
Ron Fraser loves the cover.
Yeah, Endless Winters. That art's really nice. So, yeah, I was questioning on that one. We don't want to piss off the mouse there, but a lot of old school fairy tales were dark before they got Disney-fied. So, yeah, that's for sure. Disney did a
screw that mouse.
They make everything nice and happy, but then I like Rich's comment there about the old Arnak.
Definitely my top new game of 2022.
Yeah, so he must have jumped in with both feet on Arnak. It sounds like, although I hadn't heard him talk about it at all.
But I think we all felt that way. Like
Yeah.
when we played Arnak, we're like, wow,
Yeah.
like this is great.
It was good. Yeah.
But then we played the expansion, Robert.
Yeah, that was the thing we were going to touch on. So this weekend, we finally unboxed Carlos's expansion. What's the name of the expansion? I don't even remember.
Leaders? Is it the
Leaders
Leaders
and Explorers
expansion?
or something like that? Yeah, something like that.
The
But-
box is gone. Needless to say, spoiler.
yeah. There we go. So it was not our favorite experience. So let me a couple caveats. I guess we played with 4 players, and we were completely learning the new characters. Obviously, our first play, so we didn't know
The characters weren't that tough.
they
though.
weren't really. No, we didn't play the hardest. I think 2. We played
We played all the easiest 4.
4 easiest one. Okay, so
I think we played the easiest 4.
the way that they rank them. So yeah, and I like asymmetry. I always like when a game gives me something different than what everybody else does. But this one, I don't know. Like you say, they weren't difficult. It did definitely add something to the game, but I think we both felt like that it took the game about a round longer than it should have to finish. And so, and I guess one other caveat is it does come with that expansion. It does come with a new research track that there in the rules. It does say that the playing the expansion characters with the old research track is possibly too easy, and so they changed the research track to make it a little more difficult to advance. We decided, especially with a couple of newer gamers that we were playing with, that we did not introduce that new track. We figured just the new characters.
Well, I just wanted to try the new characters
Yeah.
on their own to see how they felt.
Yep.
You know, how did it change the game?
And then by the end of 5 rounds? By the end of the 4th round, I think 2 of us were already pretty much. I know Emmy, my daughter, was already maxed out on the research track. I think I was 1 step away from the research track. So that last whole round was really just kind of gobbling up those goodies at the top of the temples there for the research track because we were already up there. I know in most games, it takes pretty much the whole game to get to the top. I mean, you usually have a couple people who race up that research track over on the right side. But it definitely felt like it was a little easy, and it definitely felt like it was long. I think I'm going to guess. We didn't time it, but maybe 2 hours. You think?
I think every round was longer because we had more things we could do.
For sure. Yeah. And that game always builds up to some extent. Usually your first couple round or 2 in that game, you don't have a whole lot of resources. You're not gathering a lot of stuff. You haven't explored a lot of the sites. So it does usually ramp up the second half of the game. But again, this one, we seem to have a lot of stuff going on by the 4th round out of 5. And so, I don't know. We talked about maybe trying it again with 2 players. Maybe that's the key, is not doing it with 4 players. Maybe 4 was a little too much.
Maybe like Viticulture at 4 up, it's just not as good.
Yeah.
It was, for me, I enjoyed it, but it just really did feel like it drug on.
Yeah.
I don't know, it didn't pop. And maybe that's the thing, is like I kept hearing, Robert, about how awesome this expansion is, and I was expecting the feeling of Skullport,
Oh, yeah.
right? Scoundrels
for,
Skullport for Lords of Waterdeep.
Waterdeep. There you go.
I was expecting that level of emotion when playing Arnak with the expansion, such that it made me say, I'll never play this game without this expansion again.
Yeah.
But that's not how I left that play.
Definitely not the first.
I did not leave
play.
that play feeling like I will never play Arnak without this expansion.
Definitely not.
I felt like, okay, the next time we play Arnak, it's going to be without this expansion.
I think so. Yeah, for sure.
It just
I agree.
speaks.
Yeah.
It speaks to the expansion. Beans and Dice podcast. State your name. Where are you calling from?
This is Ron from Atlanta.
I need to put his number in my phone.
Yeah,
So
so number
his-
pops up and it says Atlanta, but it doesn't have to say Ron Fraser like it should on your phone.
You never
But,
know. You never
yeah.
know. It could
Anyway.
be someone else from Atlanta.
Hey, Ron, how are you?
I'm great.
How's Orlando working out for you?
Nice to- Oh, it's been fantastic.
It's
I,
not 7 degrees
you
like
what,
it was
I'm,
up in
I
Georgia.
think it was about 78 degrees maybe today.
No.
Or around
When
70
I
something.
left- I tell you, when I left Atlanta to go to New Orleans, it was 8 degrees.
Yeah,
Oh.
my cousin's just north of there,
Yep.
right outside of Buford, and it was 7 degrees.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, it was crazy. But, hey, I heard you guys talking about Arnak, the expansion, and how many players did you play with?
We went 4.
So I played the expansion recently too,
Okay.
and first time, and we played with 3. And the game we played with the I'm not sure if we played with the old track or the new track, but it didn't seem like it took longer than a normal 3-player game would anyway. So, like, it's different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's I was talking to Carlos afterwards and thinking back on it, and again, for whatever it's worth, thinking back on it, when this expansion came out, there was a lot of buzz around it for about a month. And then I don't recall that I have heard anything about it since then. And so, I mean, for whatever that's worth, again, I'm not plugged into everything gaming. None of us are completely. But it is telling. There's a lot of games that come out and, they come out to a big fanfare and everybody's talking about them. Again, Arnak, obviously, mega popular game. People love Arnak. It's definitely a step above Family Weight, but it's a game that you can introduce pretty much anybody who's played a few games to, and they can catch on to it pretty quick. It's pretty user-friendly. Makes a lot of sense. It's pretty simple to go through. So the expansion came out, again, mega popular at all the cons and everything last year. Everybody was talking about the expansion. I remember at Gen Con, William went up to Gen Con and got a chance to preview it right before it came out. He's like, oh, it was great. It was fun. And then, like I say, then it seems to me like after it came out, there was a little bit of buzz about it, a little bit of talk about it, but it's not one of those that I'm just going to compare back to Dune. Again, it's unfair to compare these two games.
But we keep doing it.
But the expansion, I know, but the expansions that come out for Dune, I keep hearing, maybe it's because I like Dune better. I don't know. But it seems like the Dune expansions, I'm constantly hearing about them, whether it's people playing for the first time or what they add to the game. Again, we may be way off base. Maybe we just had a bad experience, and maybe once we play it again, like I said, we want to.
See, here's what Diego's saying is, Diego says, so you guys played the game the way the designer told you not to do.
I'm assuming that's 4 players,
and you didn't like it.
I'm assuming so. I haven't heard that the designer.
No,
said
he said not to play without the new research board.
Oh, okay, I got you. Oh, that's what he's talking about. Okay, that may be, and I don't know. Yeah, you said you don't remember, Ron, but there's a whole new. It's an overlay, and it's a pretty large board, a little fold-out board that you lay over the old research track. And so I would think if you played with it, you'd probably remember because it again physically sits on there, it raises up that part of the board a little bit. But I think when we play it again, I think we want to try it again at 2 players, maybe try a couple of different of the expansion characters. But I think we probably need to try it with that research track and see what that does to the game also.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at my board. No, we played with the old track.
Did you? Okay.
I have. Yep. I just pulled up a picture of my game.
Okay.
It's one thing when you play inefficiently, you don't get as many turns, so it doesn't go as long. So I can see why your game wasn't as long.
Oh, that was a shot, I think.
Well, two other guys that were playing were pretty good at it. By the way, the thing is that like it jumped into like my top 10 games of all time with that.
Really?
That expansion just made the experience better for me.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is that and once again, even though I finished in 3rd place, I was still competitive. I just love the many ways, the many paths to victory in the game. So it's like I didn't completely, take out what have you. But
we will give it another chance.
Give it another try. Give it another chance.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we did play with the new moon staff.
Oh, we did. Okay.
The red moon staff that destroys 2 cards on either side. I like that.
You go through more of the deck, more of the cards.
We did see a lot more cards.
Okay. Well, I did not. So yeah, it looks like the only thing that we played with that was new, just with the new leaders.
Okay.
And so.
It comes with a handful of new cards that you mix in with the artifacts. I mean, again, they did a few new things, but nothing that really changed the gameplay that much.
I did feel that the new locations had a lot more fear given out. So we got more rubies. I saw a lot more opportunity for rubies, but they came with fear.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Good game.
Yeah.
It just didn't leave me it didn't leave me feeling like essential. Like this is an essential expansion. It didn't feel that way.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you from my perspective, I think the Dune IP is pretty cool, but I'm more into the the pulp Indiana Jones type
Right.
theme
Sure.
than Dune, and so I may be coming from a perspective where the theme works on me a bit more. So my experience
Agreed.
with so
While we were playing, I had Jungle Cruise on the background.
Oh, yeah.
The Disney movie with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
I was behind me. I didn't get to see any of that.
Yeah, Robert wasn't watching it because to me it's that whole exploration jungle, giant spider fighting stuff that I really like.
yeah. So that is
What's your new to you game 2022 that stood out for you?
the new to me game.
Doesn't have to be a 2022 title. Just new to you in 2022.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that because I would have to say the game that we're playing tomorrow,
There we go.
Star Wars Outer Rim,
Segue.
with the expansion.
Okay.
So although I played the base game once, and I said, this is all right, but I went all in on the expansion. I played a friend's copy of the game before, but I bought the game with the expansion. So I consider that a new experience. And yeah, it's awesome. Aside from that, I can't think of any off the top of my head. I played a number of good ones, but Outer Rim's been my game, man. I played it a few times. I felt like I had to slow down.
That's a good problem to have.
For a little while. Yeah.
Robert is usually the one. Robert's my cooler. I'll be like, let's play this again and again and again, and Robert's like, no. That's fine. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Taste of something a little different. Yeah. This is one, as we talked about it last week, that neither of us had played the expansion yet. I think I've played the base game, 3 times, so I've got a decent amount of experience with the base game. But I'm hoping the expansion definitely will add something because I think I agree with you. The base game for me,
after the third time, we started seeing the same stories.
Yeah, it was like, this is good, but it's repetitive, and this is a game that a lot of people know, if you know the game at all, that this is one for a couple of years. People were saying, where's the expansion? There's got to be more to this. There's so much more to the Star Wars universe. You got other stories to tell. You got other characters you can put in there. And for whatever reason, Fantasy Flight took a good couple of years before,
to make more cards.
Yeah, before they did anything. So yeah.
All we wanted was more cards.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, of course, they added a little bit more than just cards. They, added new characters. They added new contacts so that you have more options. And I think, what I love about that is that it forces more interactivity. I've talked about this game before recently.
Sure.
Actually, on your call, so I won't. I won't repeat myself.
And we're going to play another game tomorrow that I'm particularly looking forward to, which is, I guess, one of your also highly regarded games is Lost Cities of Atlantis. Atlantis Rising. Atlantis Rising.
Yeah. Atlantis Rising, yes.
Sorry.
So a little story about that. So a few years back, I played Robinson Crusoe for the first time, and I was enamored. And part of it was due to theme, but also part of it was that it was a cooperative game with some worker placement and resource management. I'm like, it was just a combination of mechanisms and type of game that I liked. So I went on an internet search, like, what other games out there that are like that? And I stumbled upon Atlantis Rising. At this point, the first edition was out of print. Z Garcia was talking about it as one of his favorite co-op games
all
that
time.
he's ever played.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. And so I kept an eye out for it. And lo and behold, a couple of years later, Elk Creek Games got the rights to it and did a Kickstarter for it. So I immediately backed it, and I got it. I think right at the beginning of 2020.
Okay.
And it's and I have been thoroughly enjoying it ever since. Now, unfortunately, with the Kickstarter version, I think the retail version too, they give you some suggestions on how to adjust difficulty, but then there's some other stuff in there that they don't give you any instruction about whatsoever. Like there's a bunch of misfortune cards that are special that are not supposed to be put in the deck unless you want to add a extra level of difficulty. And like if you don't know that and you add all the cards in the deck, it makes the game
That's
more punishing.
interesting because I hear a lot of people say, including Michelle here in our game group locally, who played this recently. I think maybe the Escape Winner played it for the first time, and they were learning. It was a group of 4 or 5 of them that played it, and they were learning it for the first time. They were reading the rules, and they talked about how excited they were to play it. And then after they were done, they talked about how punishing and hard it was, and that it was really a turnoff. And it's interesting that you say that because I bet they probably played it at the maximum difficulty because they didn't know better.
Yeah, somebody just grabs all the cards out of the box
Yep.
and just starts shuffling.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made that mistake before. Pandemic, many times.
I actually crunched the numbers on it because I was really curious about it.
Okay.
And basically, if you shuffle everything in, you're gonna see like a special misfortune card. If it once every four draws. So, if you're playing a 4-player game, man, you're pretty much guaranteed to see something nice and nasty. And of course, that's gonna be punishing.
Yeah.
So
That's like having an outbreak like every 4 turns.
Yeah. Outbreak.
Yeah. So, so I play with some of that stuff just to give me some variety in the play. So there's other ways to treat the difficulty too. Anyway, I'm super excited to teach that game and to teach out of room. And as a matter of fact, tomorrow, I'll be refreshing on some rules here,
Awesome.
so I can do the best I can with the teach.
And my oldest son is bummed. He's been asking me to play Outer Rim for about a year now, and he really wanted to try to play when you came into town. But I've got a great niece who's having a big birthday party tomorrow, a 1-year-old birthday party, and so him and the wife and my daughter and my younger son are all driving over to Tarpon Springs, which is about an hour away from here, the other way up the coast, and they're going to be spending all day there. So since I have to work, I got out of that, and I'm going to be able to come from work over here to game afterwards. So
Hey, Arby, if you're watching, Rob's son Arby, just come over. We got a seat for you. We'll get Outer Rim going.
just ditch the 1-year-old.
Ditch the family.
Yeah, I told him.
Come on over. Play some Outer Rim with us.
I told him. Yeah.
It's the first birthday. She'll have plenty more in the future. Okay?
She'll never remember.
Yeah, she's not gonna know.
Anyway, but yeah, really looking forward to gaming with you tomorrow. I'm going to get here as soon as I can. I told Carlos that if y'all need to start Outer Rim without me, I know y'all are going to plan to meet up around 4-ish, and I don't know if I'm going to make it at 4:30. I don't know if it'll be 5. It could be 5:30. So don't wait for me. If you and Carlos, and I think Wayne's coming over if he gets over. And y'all
I know Wayne hasn't played. He's looking forward to playing.
Yeah.
So even if we do start at the 3-player, it's good because we can get it through quicker.
Yeah.
I know that, Ron, you got to drive back to Orlando, so we're going to get Outer Rim in. We're going to get Atlantis Rising in. So even if without Rob, we start a good 3-player game, Rob shows up with some beers as his penance.
Yep.
He shows up with some beers for us. I don't know about you, Ron, but I'm going to make Rob bring me beer. But I will be ordering pizza for us. So, Ron, let me know, if there's anything you don't want on pizza, anything, any issues with pizza or a special order, anything special ingredients, let me know because I'll order pizza for us tomorrow.
Sweet. Sounds great. All right.
We'll see you tomorrow,
guys,
Bobby.
All right.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Ron. Here's Ron Frazier, friend of the show. Always good for a call. So that's appreciate him calling.
I like
in.
how Diego calls us out for playing the game the way the designer said not to.
Yeah. When the book tells you
he's paying attention.
to use this new thing, you probably should use this new thing. But do what it tells you not to, and then don't like it.
Rich Yossi says the New Moon staff sounds like a good change.
Yeah, because that you add cards to that deck, to the artifacts, and you add to the items deck, and so each one of them, they were already pretty big stacks. And that was one of the big knocks on the game originally, was that you don't see enough of the cards in a regular play unless somebody's just buying cards. And so this fixes that. It allows you each round. Normally, you eliminate one artifact card to the left of the Moonstaff and one item card to the right of the Moonstaff, and you push everything in and refill. This one, you go 2 on each side, so it eliminates twice as many cards. You get quite a bit further through that deck. And
you're seeing a lot more of those artifacts, because usually you're moving the Moonstaff to the right, which means you're adding an additional artifact card each round anyway. So you're always seeing 2 new artifact cards to begin with. Now you're seeing 3 new artifact cards to begin with each round, which I like that.
Yep, good stuff. So it's definitely, that's part of it was a much needed thing. So.
Friend of the show, Kyle from Chicago says, I like Atlantis Rising, need to table it more.
I'll be interested to see what Carlos thinks about this when he keeps poking at me. He's like, we're going to play this Atlantis Rising game. I don't know anything about that. What's that game?
It's like Forbidden Island, right?
No.
It's like water and
it's cooperative. It's going to be an experience. So I know you're not crazy usually about cooperative type games.
As long as it's a cooperative that allows for people to make decisions on their own without being bullied.
I think so. I think it does. I think there's some hidden
that matters.
Yeah, hidden stuff that you've got that you're doing. So
that was our play of Arnak.
Arnak,
Leaders and Expeditions.
Expedition Leaders.
Expedition Leaders.
There you go. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Similar.
Yep. Close.
In my country.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to think about your best new to you game? I've got one other written down if you don't, but
I do.
Okay.
Man, okay, so it's kind
all
of
I do is look at the wall here.
I did, but and I ran through my list of games I played in 2022.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of in between 2 games right now, and it's in between Cascadia, which I've talked about before,
Okay.
and the reasons.
You were a little late to that party, but yeah.
That's why for 2022 to me it stands out.
Yeah.
It's because, dang, folks, listen, you might have some preconceived notions about some games based on what you saw or heard earlier when it first comes out. Maybe the hype train, you're like totally against it. But if you give them a chance, just let folks who know how to play the game teach you the game, demo it to you. You really might find a gem in there that you didn't expect. And that's what Cascade is to me, which is why, to me, it's a standout for 2022. Okay. Is a game that I just put off like as nothing.
Yeah.
Like it looks light, it looks family, it looks not me. And I was completely wrong. It's a game that we play regularly at home now.
Really solid game. To me, it feels a little old now. But again, just because I played it for the first time probably about a year and a half ago, and I played it a handful of times, pretty back to back to back, kind of like you did when you first got onto it. And so now it's a little bit. I mean, I probably should come back and revisit it because it's been 6 months since I played it. So I'd like to play it again and remember how good it was.
Well, we taught our mother-in-law at Christmas.
Yeah,
and she won.
And
watching her go through and try to figure out the strategies and see that enjoyment is like it's like enjoying it all over again through somebody else's eyes. And not many games have such a simple rule set with enough depth to keep me engaged.
Yeah, definitely simple rules but a decent amount going on trying to solve that puzzle.
It's on that list of 2022 for me.
Okay.
But if I had to pick a favorite game for 2022, it's Clash of Cultures.
Clash of Cultures, really?
It's Clash of Cultures.
That's a 2022 game for you?
It was 2022 for us, wasn't it?
I'm trying to think. It was for...
when did we
before
first
Dice
play that?
Tower,
when was Retreat?
Retreat was November a year ago.
Oh, so it's off the list. Cascadia wins.
Okay, so
that was
Cascadia then.
End of 2021.
Narrow that down. Yeah, I think it was 2021.
That narrowed that down. Yep.
I was going to say Anno was another big one on yours, so I'm a little surprised.
Oh, yeah.
Anno isn't... maybe that's right behind them.
And I kept trying to get you to play it more and more, but you keep shirking me, bro.
I don't mind playing it again. I actually taught it, poorly probably, but I taught it to a group at the Your Turn Con a few months back.
I think they never finished the game.
They did not. They did not. They had somebody who had to leave early, so it wasn't entirely my fault. But yeah, I jumped in there. I thought I could teach it, and then I had to look up about half the rules. So I apologize for that, but it happens. At least I got you kickstarted and got it going. But
Wayne did not pop in, but he did pop into the comments and says a game that came out a year and a half ago is old for Rob.
Yeah, it's a little
Cult
old.
of the New much.
Yeah, I got a Cult of the New. Yeah, no, that's not me. Orleans, still one of my all-time favorites, and that's an older game. So yeah.
Castles. Castles of Burgundy was introduced to me in 2022.
Really?
That was
Okay.
my first time playing it, and man, I played a lot of it.
Definitely a few years back for me. And I know I mentioned that. I know that is one of Dan from Your Turn's favorite games now. He talks about that a lot, about how he's hooked on it, playing it on BGA, Board Game Arena. He just plays game after game after game of Castles.
Yeah, that's a 20. What year was that game? 2015.
Oh gosh,
no,
it's back to
2000
the ways.
it's an older one,
Yeah,
but it's
look.
new to me in 2022, and that definitely was an exciting learn, an
Yeah.
exciting teach. Castles will probably be up there on that list too.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just trying to type it up here real quick just to see when the 2011.
2011.
So that sounds a little further back.
So 10, and I was a little bit of confusion on the anniversary for that game because apparently the anniversary was the anniversary of
Oh yeah.
the company Ayala.
Ayello?
Ayala.
Yellow.
Beans and Ice podcast. State your name. Where are you calling from?
Well, hello, gents. This is Rich Yassi from up in the
Hey!
frozen Northeast.
How are you?
Did you survive the blizzards?
What's up, guys? We were spared. If you look at the map of that gigantic dip
Oh, yeah.
in the jet stream there, we were on the right side of it in New England. That's how
Nice.
strange
I
the
mean,
whole
there's like
thing
Nicely
was.
done.
28
yeah.
people died in Buffalo.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. People in their cars and stuff. I heard some story this morning about a woman. It was like a mile from her house, and an older lady, and she got stuck in the snow, and they found her frozen to death in her car the next morning, just a mile from home. She couldn't
yeah.
make it home. Yeah.
Terrible.
Glad you got spared, man. That looked like
Terrible.
nuts. It made me happy to live in Florida. We were complaining about 30-degree weather.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, we got some pretty good wind, and the temperatures went down to nothing too bad, 20s.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's not bad. Yeah.
In those couple of days, and then tomorrow it's supposed to be in the 50s. So
Wow, that's
See,
See,
crazy.
but this is the part that I'm kind of jealous about my northern friends like you, Rich. My northern friends like Kyle in Chicago. There's like this whole months-long season where there's nothing better to do than play board games inside.
Sure, I guess.
Is that like
Yeah.
half glass full kind of thinking, or is that just too
well,
way
yeah,
off
that's
base?
that's a positive way of looking at it. Yeah, most definitely.
Here in Florida, it's always like go outside weather.
Yeah.
So I can never trap people into playing games.
That's true. It's probably a good reason why Gen Con and all the American-based stuff. At least it used to be the case that it was all held in the frozen lands of Milwaukee and
Yeah.
Lake Geneva. And I guess it moved down to Indy isn't exactly tropical, so
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, it's more conducive to board gaming, the colder temps, that's for sure.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing.
But yeah. Anyway, so a belated Merry Christmas or whatever floats your boat
Hey,
to
felicidades.
everybody in the B&D community, and an early Happy New Year to everybody. It's been a tough 2022, but hey, New Year's coming, new outlook and
Yep.
positive vibes.
Give it another
What
shot.
can we say?
That's for sure.
Yeah, I know for me anyway, I was able to hunt down a couple of white whales as far as gaming is
Nice.
concerned. I finally got The Murder of Crows for Zombicide Black Plague. I was finally able to track down. That was the last thing I needed to get what I wanted, at least, for all the millions of Kickstarter expansions that were out there. The Murder of Crows was, people wanted like $110 for it, which is just preposterous. But I was able to snag one on eBay from someone in Germany, and it wound up costing me like $40, including shipping.
Wow. Okay.
And that,
So, thank you
I
very
love how
much.
you
I'll
looked at
scoop
that as a win.
Yeah. Well, I figured I've been sort of looking for it off and on for almost 2 years, and I'd never seen it anything close to $40. So I jumped on it and I got it a couple of days ago, and it's new in shrink, and I opened it up and it's perfect. So I was pretty psyched about that.
Are you a fan
And
of
then,
any
yeah.
other zombie side settings?
I haven't tried any of the others. The Wild West one seemed intriguing, but I'm so far in on Black Plague I don't I don't see myself going to any of the other settings. I mean, the theme is so attractive to me, the whole fantasy thing, and I got Green Horde as well, so I can do like a mega fantasy-based zombicide game. So that's pretty cool.
I think when we went to CMON Expo,
yeah.
And there was a gentleman there who had his Zombicide Black Plague set up, and it was every tile was replaced with 3D
terrain.
walls, terrain, everything. It looked like a giant dungeon
it was
on
cool.
a 6x8 board. It was amazing.
And they were playing. Yeah, he was hosting games, I think, back to back to back, and had different groups.
He was just
of
a
people coming in
fan.
and playing,
He wasn't an employee of CMON. He was just a fan.
Yeah.
Is that the dinner and a board game guy? Because
I'm not sure.
Because that guy, I think that's the guy on YouTube. It's dinner and a board game, and I think they're the ones who play in like a full 3D environment.
It could have
It
been.
just looks amazing.
Yeah.
So God knows how long that took to make, but
Yeah, it was really cool looking.
it looks absolutely incredible. And the other thing I was able to track down was a set of six monks for Mystery of the Abbey. 6 little monk minis.
Oh, just in time for the reprint.
Yeah. I guess they're doing a reprint, but from what I understand, nothing really new. It's going to be pretty much a straight. I think they're refreshing the artwork, but nothing really new gameplay wise, from what I understand. So,
and I am not familiar.
Back in print.
I only know I've heard of this title through D6 Generation. The guys at D6 Generation were big fans of Mystery. What is new to me now, Mystery of the Abbey. Apparently, I always called it Mystery at the Abbey. Buddy, I've been wrong my whole life. What is, with this new reprint coming out, tell the folks at home about Mystery of the Abbey. Should they look into it? Why?
Well, it's basically, it's Clue, but good.
Okay.
I'm down with that.
I
That's
like
simple
that.
enough.
I like that idea.
It's basically a souped-up version of Clue, and it's got a little bit of the roll and move to it, but it's definitely an intriguing little game. I mean, it's nothing terribly complex, but I've had really good luck with it as far as introducing people to it. But if anybody's ever played Clue, they'll know how to play it pretty much from the get-go.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. It's definitely worth getting. Oh, those, I'm looking at the screen now. Yeah, those monks look. Those are definitely not the ones that come in the box.
Okay,
sure.
A little bit of an upgrade there.
I think nobody else was waiting to hunt down the 6 monks like you were. They were probably just having somebody 3D print them.
Mine don't look like that. Mine, I have no idea what the intent of the set of monks that I got are for. They're not custom for the game. It's just somebody on Etsy made a set of 6 monks.
Oh.
And they're all in different poses. And I'm sure they were designed for some RPG or something, but they look fantastic, and I can't wait to get them painted up.
Cool.
So that's what I'm going to use. So yeah,
I'm going to have to
really
put
cool.
this copy on my list. My wife is a huge fan of Clue.
I like Clue, yeah.
Carlos, it's no brainer, man. Absolutely.
I'm okay
She'll
with
love it.
Clue, but if this ramps it up, then it sounds like it's a no-brainer for me when they come out with the new version.
Yeah, it ramps it up significantly.
So what's the mystery? Like in Clue,
Who done?
Colonel Mustard
Well,
got killed with the candlestick in the librlibrary. What's the mystery here?
Well, the mystery of the Abbey, as
yeah.
it were, is that one of the monks has been killed, and you have a list of 24. I think it's 24 suspects, and they are also monks. Yeah, that picture that I'm saying, I know there's a delay here, but if you look at the sheet, which shows pictures of the 3 rows of
24. Yeah, 3 rows of 8. 24.
Monks,
Yep.
I was right. Yeah, so you basically whittle down your list of suspects by asking each other questions, and you get sort of other information through cards and landing and going to different rooms in the monastery. And it's really well done. Like I said, it's light, and pretty much anybody can. I think people will have a ball with it. I really do.
Oh,
and I'm glad it's getting back in print because it deserves it.
yeah, that's one definitely I'll check out. I grew up, as many did, I'm sure, playing Clue. That was a family favorite in my family, and so we played lots of Clue over probably about a 4 or 5 year period for sure. So, yeah, if this has any similarities, I'm sure I'll like it. So I'll wait for Carlos to get a copy.
I love that.
Yeah, the real there's a real art to it in terms of if you land on the same space as another player, you get to ask them a question, and they have to answer the question truthfully.
Ah, okay.
So you can ask them, like, have you eliminated so-and-so from your list of suspects or whatever? And they have the option of either answering or taking a vow of silence and not telling you anything.
Very themey.
But if they do answer, they get the incentive for them to give you an answer is that they can then ask you a question as well.
Oh, now, must I be truthful when I reply back on that?
Yeah, and you have to be truthful, even down to somebody can I can ask you, Carlos. Which space are you going to be moving to next?
Oh, okay.
You locked me into that move.
Exactly. Well, you would have to answer me, and then you would have to go where you said you were going to go.
Yeah, locked in.
I like it.
Yeah. It's really cool. So definitely give it a try.
Neat.
Good timing on your calling. Speaking about finding games that you've been hunting down.
He's opening a box over here.
I'm opening the box as we speak. There's peanuts. We're gonna fluff around in here. Look at all that. Oh, it's 3D, folks. It's 3D.
Woo! Don't get hit by the stuff.
Check this out, Rich.
Oh, Rallyman.
The GT4 expansion to Rallyman GT.
Oh, very nice.
And the GT5 expansion. I got my green dice.
Oh,
I finally got my green die.
die.
I am so excited. You introduced me to Rallyman GT on Board Game Arena.
PGA, yep.
And I thought the green dice was standard. Like, that's how you introduced it to me.
No.
And here I go. I got 2 copies of Rallyman GT on the shelf here. We'll put the camera up. You can see right here 2 copies of Rallyman GT. And I'm like, there's nary a green die to be found. So I finally tracked them down. Atomic Empire finally got them in stock. And I got them for like $15 a pop. So I am so excited to get these to the table.
There's some sort of championship expansion, too. I don't know if you've heard of that. I guess
that's why I have 2 boxes of Rallyman GT. When I went to Dice Tower and did the flea market, I shared a table with a couple of guys that I found on Facebook, because the Dice Tower's flea market was full, and right on his table he had Rallyman GT, and I said, "Oh, do you have the expansions in there?" And he said, "Yes, I do." So I bought it from him real fast. No green die to be found.
Nope.
But I did find in there the championship expansion, which has the campaign, and it has kind of how to run a campaign, how to run championship points.
Oh, cool!
All built in there.
Oh, that's cool.
And a bridge. So now you have a bridge, so you can make like figure 8.
Yeah.
So you have a flyover bridge. You can fly over the track.
Oh, you can make Suzuka, which is the F1 track, which has a crossover on it.
Cool.
That's
really cool.
That's why I have 2 copies up here. I'm not going to get rid of either.
Oh, no. And in a quick segue here,
this whole show is segues. This is one big segue.
Just a reminder.
I was going to mention it if you didn't.
Just a reminder that our Welcome to tourney has finished, and that went really well, and it went really, really well for
that was that DJ horn.
Person should remain nameless.
Congratulations to our champion, Getty.
Well, thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
I got a trophy. I'm going to be creating a trophy for you to send up your way to add to your original Rallyman GT trophy.
Okay.
That's my loot. I was thinking that when Nick called in, I was thinking that he wound up finishing second. So now his tournament average finishing position is 1.5.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
That's nice. Nice average.
Not too shabby.
I'm gonna have to add that
Not
to
too
the
shabby.
trophy. You beat Nick.
1.5. Oh, you beat Nick. Yeah. This is the beating Nick trophy. Yeah.
Well, hey, anytime you can come out ahead of that guy,
You're not doing too
something
bad.
right.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Telling us, bro.
No.
We
Well,
live with
just
the
down
dude.
the road from him. So.
I'm just glad he's a nice guy. You know.
Yeah, he's pretty nice.
That-
guy.
Yeah, that humble brag of
that
his.
takes a lot of this. That takes a lot of this thing out of it. You know, it's like, okay, well, at least he's not a jerk. You know, that would be really bad.
Yeah, we got that continued
And,
segue though.
so,
Right,
yeah,
man.
I just
GT
wanted-
tournament. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, I just wanted to let people know to keep an eye on the Discord, because very, very, very soon we'll be getting the full info on this upcoming Rallyman GT tournament we're going to be having, and I've got some interesting stuff planned that I think people are going to like.
Cool.
And in addition to that, we're going to be starting up another sort of general tournament that everybody's free to join. And it looks like people are wanting to do Seven Wonders Architects. We haven't locked in our choice yet, but if anyone wants to sort of chime in as to
That
what
would be
they'd like
nice,
to
because
do,
that would be quick.
It's light and quick.
That would be
It would.
there would be a lot
Well,
less commitment.
It's sequential. It's not like the original in that everyone takes turns simultaneously. It's sequential. So that was one of my concerns. But in looking at it, the games won't be that long.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too.
They're shorter
long.
than Castles of Burgundy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those games fly by fast. I like Seven Wonders Architects.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And
Don't hold your breath.
We haven't decided on anything yet. So.
Right.
But people can. We have a discussion area on the Discord called Future Plans.
Yep.
So if anyone wants to chime in as to what they'd like to do, there's a discussion going on over there. But 2023 is going to be a pretty good year as far as tournaments on Beans and Dice goes. At least that's my sincere hope.
And we appreciate you running all that for us. I mean, I know you put that together, 3 tournaments in now, and looking to go strong into next year. But
He's walking away with 2 trophies.
Well, yeah, it's not so bad. Yeah, I think he just wins all the trophies. But no, anyway. But yeah, we appreciate you taking that. It's a good amount of time.
Definitely.
that you put into running those, and the commentary and stuff that you put there in the Discord's always fun to read. So again,
the trophy is going up there not only with the trophy, but with a swag bag of appreciation from us to you.
Okay.
Oh, gee.
So it's
Thank you very, very much.
It's heading up your way this new year. Once I'm gonna have this weekend off to be able to
Put some
get it
stuff
together and get it shipped out to you. But there's Beans and Dice swag and stuff as a official Beans and Dice member, the Boston Bean and Dice.
Boston branch.
Well, that sounds great. Thank you so much. And hey, I'll wrap it up. I know we're past 10 now here in the East. But yeah, thanks a lot for everything, and Happy New Year to everyone, and all the best for 2023.
Amen. Let's do it.
And you, thanks for calling. We appreciate you taking the time.
Okay, guys.
Good night, Rich.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
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 That's our buddy.
Awesome. Yeah, he's puts. I don't know how much time he puts into running that stuff, but it's a good chunk. There's no doubt. Keeping track of all that, kind of monitoring what games are going to be next.
I see those communications, man.
Yeah.
It's not what I do well.
And it's a hot topic. I mean, people get a little excited about what we're going to do, what we're going to play. So everybody's got their opinion on how we attack it. So, but yeah, Rich is doing a great job with running all that.
I'm over here, open up my
Playing with your new toys.
yeah, and there it is, the green die,
Green die.
the boost dice, and cards, lots of cards.
You're going to be in on that tournament, aren't you?
No, I'm
You're
going to
not?
be doing Blood Bowl. I'm
Bowl.
committed to the Blood Bowl League in January.
You can't do BGA.
Listen, bandwidth. Okay, I have a 5-gallon bucket.
Wow.
It fills up fast, and then it's overflowing. So I can't do it all. I've got to make commitments.
Okay.
And Blood Bowl it is this year. I'm getting back into that Blood Bowl. I'm excited. Kyle's right. Rich is the man.
The man.
All right, Rob, let's talk a little bit about, we talked about our favorite game for 2022.
Talk acquisitions.
Let's talk about games we played and get them on the board.
Okay.
Games we played and get them on the board.
Yeah.
here we are at the end of December, right?
So what did we play? We got together this last Sunday night. We brought the families together for a little post-Christmas get-together, and we just hung out.
I got some magnetic strips so we can write these bad boys down and throw them on the board.
One of the big purposes was to learn a couple new games, and so I taught you a game, you taught me a game, and then we played the Arnak expansion. So I don't think we're going to rate the Arnak expansion. I don't think we're doing expansions in this. Yeah,
we already poo-pooed it a little bit.
I think we kind of gave it one thumb, kind of sideways, leaning down. So,
but the folks at home told us we need to give it another try.
We need to try it again. So we're not giving up on that one. But the two games that this game you taught me was New York 1901. Do I have that right? Did I write that down?
New York 1901.
1901. Okay, so I'm going to put that. I'm going to write it down here. Give me just a second.
As am I.
Oh, okay. You don't have that one on your board yet. Nope. Okay, cool. So we'll both rate that one. So if you get done first, I think
I played it sometime in, would it have been October game day? I think it would have been October game day. I originally played this game. But I did get a copy of it for Christmas. And Rob came over, and so he got to learn the game. I had played it 3 times that day.
Wow. Got a couple games in before I got here, huh?
Yeah, so, I'll let you, Robert, looking at the board.
Guess?
Looking at the board.
Yeah.
Looking at your list here of games that you've picked. Where am I going to put this bad boy for you?
Where are you going to put it on your list?
On your list. Where am I putting it for you?
You're putting. Okay. So I'm giving you this. I got you. We're doing this a little different because we moved the board off to the side. So Carlos is going to actually slap the stuff on the board.
I'm going to be your Vanna Brown.
So just real quick, I'll run down it because I don't know how visible it is. But we got Unsettled, Trajan, Mosaic, Tapestry, Ready, Set, Bet, Guild of Merchant Explorers, Heat, Skull, Point Salad, Flamecraft, and Caesar's Empire. New York 1901. Okay, it's going to be not at the bottom, that's for sure. It's going to be more in the middle. I don't think it's going to jeopardize Tapestry. Probably not Ready, Set, Bet, even though I've had hits and misses with that one. I'm going to put it above Heat and below Guild of Merchant Explorers.
Okay.
That's where I'm going with that.
And Heat is the new hotness. You see what I did there?
Yeah,
Hotness.
Yeah. Heat.
Right about there?
Yeah. I think that's where I'm going to put that one. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm kind of with you on that. Like, I would not put this above Marvel. Maybe above Marvel United.
Yeah. You got just on your list real quick: Cascadia, Crusaders, Lost Ruins of Arnak, Furnace, Tapestry, Mosaic. Looks like you're slotting in New York 1901 behind Mosaic.
Yeah, I think I might want to play it more than Marvel United.
Marvel United, Ready, Set, Bet, Caesar's Empire, and Skull.
Right about there.
Okay, I would have guessed probably right around there. That's what I would have thought. Again, you've played a lot more than I have. I just have the one play in, but it was a fun game. Definitely family weight-ish. Not a whole lot going on. I saw somebody in the comments mention it gives them feels of
Cape May.
Cape May. I was just thinking
but Cape
you
May
didn't
sucks.
Like it all, but you really did not like Cape May. I can see the comparison though. When somebody mentioned that, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it definitely is different, but I can definitely see the comparison to Cape May. I didn't hate Cape May, didn't dislike it quite as much as you did, but it wasn't a big hit for me, that's for sure. So. Anyway, so the game I taught you. Oh, actually, I don't have to rate this one. This was already on my board. It was the Guild of Merchant Explorers.
Oh yeah.
And I know you said you were a little torn on this one. You were still had some thoughts about this, but we're going to make you go ahead and do it. Last week you made me to throw up a Heat without any warning, so I'm going to make you put the Guild of Merchant Explorers.
Wasn't even thinking about this one.
Yeah.
And I'm still in a state of confusion with how I feel about Guild of Merchant Explorers.
Okay. All right.
Actually, Wifey and I were talking about it just the other day.
Okay.
Talking through our play, like what did we play?
Okay.
Here's what I do know about Merchant Explorers is I had fun putting cubes down.
The tactile, yeah.
Yes.
The touching.
The very kinetic.
Yes.
The feeling of it.
Kind of a rolling right or flipping right, but you're actually, instead of just writing on a piece of paper, you're taking cubes and placing them on these little maps and building little cities and trade posts and yeah.
But it's going to end up way at the bottom.
I would not have guessed that low. Wow. Okay.
It's
right above Skull, below Caesar's Empire.
I would rather play Caesar's Empire.
Really?
Like, I think I got more enjoyment out of building roads. And Wifey even talked about it. Melissa talked about it in comparison to Caesar's Empire.
Okay.
With the building of the roads, the route building piece of it, right?
Sure.
Kind of a feeling to it. And that got me thinking about Caesar's Empire. And I think I enjoyed Caesar's Empires more because of the set collection piece of it. So it's fitting right there.
Okay.
Guild of, and my handwriting's horrible, folks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You got to live with it.
There's a set collection in Guild of Merchant Explorers. I got 6 of those stupid cards that you got only get 4 of them. You stop getting points after you collect 4 of them. I had
And
6
that's
of them,
probably a little bit
yeah.
of what detracted me to it, folks. Almost like in que jodienda, ¿cómo se llama? The Egyptian game with the cubes, and you're laying them down and building temples and burial chambers.
You're not talking about the combat one. Where,
No, the one you're sailing the ships with. Why am I?
Oh, you're thinking of the yeah. There's a dual version of it.
It's up here somewhere. It's on my shelf somewhere.
I got Ankh stuck in my head. It's not Ankh.
We played it with
it's,
Mitch all the time
yes,
online.
Yes, I know.
Anyway,
Yep.
it kind of reminded me of that in the sense of there's cards that you can get that if you collect X amount of cards of that type, you're increasing your end game bonus. And then Robert happened to draw 6 of the cards.
It was our first play.
in the game.
I don't think I shuffled real well.
And
but
he needed 5 of them.
I think it was 4 or
Imhotep.
5. Imhotep. There you go. That's the one you were thinking of.
So with Imhotep, there are cards that you score for having multiples of a certain card. Rob drew 6, and he only needed 4 to get the maximum number of points.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm not. Yeah, it kind of made me feel luck based.
Okay.
It felt luck based.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, with the treasure thing, there is definitely. And again, it probably was a bad shuffle because we were trying to set it up real quick, and we just opened your copy, so I think maybe I didn't shuffle real great. But I know the first time I played, the set collection wasn't a thing. Nobody got more than like 1 or 2 of those cards. There was a lot more of instant action things where you drew something, you got to do something right away. In our play of it, there was almost none of that. It was
Mostly end game bonuses.
Yeah, it was in game scoring.
So there was no stand up like woohoo moments. It was more like okay.
But yeah, flipping rights, I mean, that's a thing. I don't know that,
a thing.
flipping rights, you're going to have many stand-up moments. So usually they're pretty solitaire games. This one's very solitaire. And I actually mentioned that this is a game my wife might actually play because she does not like player interaction at all. But this one, I don't really think there's any player interaction at all. You're really doing your own entirely separate things.
I tell you what, though, grokking the game, understanding the game,
Yeah.
and not the rules, but the strategy,
Sure. Yeah.
like the tactics of what to take.
Yeah.
Even I struggled with that.
It's a little
And you
step
talked
deeper.
about it being your second time playing it. You did really well because you already had an idea.
Yeah.
So, I guess our tip for this one would be go into your first game and just play it.
Yeah, just play it.
Just play it, push cubes, put villages down,
Yeah.
kind of get a feel for how things work. That second game,
You can start trying to do something.
and that might be why this is on my first play.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
Yeah, you may need
Because
to play
that's on
again.
my first play. I felt like I just didn't understand.
And I watched a play before I played it the first time, so I've almost felt like I've played it 3 times now. So, yeah, it probably takes a play or 2 to really kind of start getting how things work together. So,
All right, what's our next game we want to talk about?
I don't know. That was it. Just those 3 that we played. Is there any others that you've played?
I played
recently?
Ethnos
Ethnos?
a couple of
We
times.
can do Ethnos, yeah.
I want to do Ethnos.
Yeah, I mean, that's a game we are both very familiar with. We've played this game. I've played Ethnos probably 15 times now, 10, 15 times. So I've got quite a bit of experience with it. But go ahead. You've got yours queued up.
Yep. All right. So Ethnos is a 2 to 6 player set collection game
Yeah, area control for sure.
where you're playing bands of cards onto the tabletop in order to score points based on the size of the band or run of cards that you're playing. But then you also use the size of that run or band to dictate how much control you can gain on different areas on the board. But then you're also using that top card of that band that you played to have special abilities, because if you put a wizard at the top, the wizard's going to have a special ability that says you can draw X number of cards, X being the size of the band, after you play that card.
Right.
So there's a lot going on in this simple-to-play, rummy-esque drawing game.
Yeah, and I love that that there's so much variety from game to game because each game you're only using 5 or 6 of the different races, and there's 10 or 11 of them with the promo that you can play with. So every game you got a little different feel for what the different abilities are. But,
So I'm going to get this thing on the board here, and I'm going to get my microphone. Oh, look at it. I can stand up with this
Oh, wow, look
microphone.
at
Hey,
that.
folks.
Yeah.
How you doing at home, folks?
I know we both.
Kyle, shout out to you for the comment. He says he's heard good things about Ethnos. They really need to redo the game.
Everybody talks about
Every time we play that
cracks on
game,
the-
that's what we
the
say.
art and stuff on that game.
All right, so I'm going. It's better than Tapestry
I'm
to me,
gonna say we're both gonna have this pretty high.
and I I'm right here. I'm between Furnace and Tapestry on Ethnos.
Oh, below Furnace. Okay.
I like Furnace a lot.
You must like Furnace a lot.
I like Furnace
Yeah.
a lot.
I know you like Ethnos a lot. I know I like Ethnos a lot.
So that's right about where I'm putting Ethnos. I think that's a good. That says a lot for
Okay.
2 months worth of gameplay to be in the top 5 of games that I've played in the last 2 months. That's
All
pretty
right.
good.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Gosh. Yeah, I'm going to have this right in the same territory of where you've got it. My conundrum right now is Tapestry. I think it's going to be below Mosaic for me. Is it better than Tapestry, though? Ooh, Tapestry is definitely a heavier game, more going on. I like heavier games. But Ethnos is one that it's light enough to teach to a lot of people. I've taught it a lot. I'm going to say between Tapestry and Ready, Set, Bet.
That's not a bad place. That
Yeah.
puts it in your top 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. That's
Yeah,
number
just
5.
like me in the top 5.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. That's where I'd put it.
I like it. Picasso.
But how?
All right, let's see. I'm looking at my list of games played. All the other ones have pretty much played. Tiny Epic Kingdoms. That's something on my list that I'll put up there because it is a game that I played multiple times. Tiny Epic Kingdoms by Scott Alms of what is the name of that company? Gameland Games.
Gameland Games. Yeah, there you go.
Tiny, one of the Tiny Epic series.
I was just counting real quick because I wanted to make sure we had the same number. We both got 13 up there. So if you're going to do another one, I'm going to try to see if I can pull another one real quick. But
Hey, it's up.
go ahead. Yeah.
Hey, Rob really likes.
I got to keep up.
He
Competition.
likes things balanced, and
Competition.
symmetrical, and
You got 13. You got 14 now. I got to get 14.
all right. Tiny Epic Kingdoms is a 1 to 4 player 4X game in a Tiny Epic box. There's no randomness. There's no dice rolls for combat. You are exploring. You are exterminating. You are exploiting, and you are what's the other X?
Explore,
Expanding.
expand.
And expanding. You're doing all those things, but you're doing them with meeples and with Euro-style mechanisms, and you're doing them on small cards that fit on a small tabletop that can be put in your backpack. For all those reasons, I think it's a great game, and I enjoyed it. I really did. Tiny Epic Kingdoms. But, man, how much did I enjoy it? Probably better than Ready, Set, Bet and Caesar's Empire, and Marvel United. I think I'd rather play it more than Marvel United.
Sliding up the list.
Question is, would I rather play it more than New York 1901?
About to find out.
If I had to pick so I got in a trip thanks to William. Thank you, William. Because of our play of Mosaic, right? So we got Mosaic played, and it got me tripping about Civ building games and 4X games.
Yeah.
So I have a copy of Ultra Tiny Epic Kingdoms. Now I have a copy of Tiny Epic Kingdoms, which are pretty much the same thing.
I would think so.
So we got 3 Civ building types games right here between these 3. Which ones would I rather play? It's going to have to be there. Tiny Epic Kingdoms. I'd rather play Mosaic. I'd rather play Tapestry.
Yeah.
Even though all the benefits of Tiny Epic Kingdoms of its portability, its ease of teaching, its 45-minute game time, its lack of randomness are all things to me that make it a plus. It's still just not it's like having a cheeseburger when I can have, a burger monger, with Tapestry and Mosaic. So for all those reasons, it ends up being right below Mosaic. But above that, that puts it solidly in the middle.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to throw one up that's a recent play just because it's a recent play, although I mentioned on the show a couple weeks ago, I think, that this game's not particularly up my alley, the style of game. It's it's called Kites is the game that I'm going to place up there. So it's a cooperative game. It is sand timers. You're flipping them. You're trying to work together to play out all your cards. It's a card shedding game. You're shedding a card, drawing one off the top of the deck, shedding a card, drawing off the deck. You've got these sand timers that are different colors, and they match up with the cards that you're playing. So when you play a card, you can flip that sand timer. It's a balancing act because if somebody just flipped one, you obviously don't want to flip it right back over because if any of them run out at any point, you lose. And so this is a high pressure, high intensity, real simple game to learn, almost a party weight game, but just not my style because I don't like those quick decision pressure games, especially where everybody's
pendulum style,
relying on me to do it.
XCOM style,
exactly. So I'm going to put this fairly low, and again, it's a popular game right now. It's getting a lot of buzz. There's a lot of people talking about how much they enjoy it. I guess it's getting played at a lot of conventions and stuff. But I'm going to place this one, I think. Actually, I'm going to put it above Caesar's Empire, which will put it on, on my list.
So it's not at the bottom.
Yeah, not at the very bottom.
It's not at the very bottom.
I'm actually going to put it just one spot above Caesar's Empire, below Flamecraft.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
So it made it on the board.
It's on the board.
It's on the board.
It
Put it on the board.
And yes. So it goes on there. It doesn't completely come off.
So as we continue to do this, we don't know how long kites will stay on the board.
Yeah, exactly.
Because once we run out of room,
I'm looking
we got to start booting.
We've got 14 up there each, and so I'm thinking 15. We can fit 15 on there.
So you kind of keep a running tally
Maybe
of
top
15.
15.
If
Yeah, I
we
think
talk
that'd be
about
it.
a game,
Yeah.
does it break the top 15? If
Yeah.
it does, we put it on the board. If it doesn't, we just wipe it.
Bump something off, or if it goes on, something bumps off the bottom. If it doesn't go on, then it just doesn't go on. So, but this is a good starting spot, I think. We've got what, about 50% of them up there that are crossovers that
Yep.
we both played, and about half of them are games that either the
We
other
do
one
tend to
hasn't
play a
played.
lot of games together, though.
Yeah, for sure. But I think this is good that we have some that we can kind of look at each other and compare how we liked the same game. But then we've got some other games that maybe one of us has played or played more recently that we put up there to kind of give us some variety, so it's not just the same list of games.
So giving you the update, and I'm sure there'll be some games we play before the end of the new year.
Yeah.
So next episode, we'll talk more and update those.
Or playing tomorrow, so I gotta make sure. I'm definitely getting Atlantis Rising up there, so I'm gonna get that played and then see how everybody. Stay tuned for next week. First show of the new year, I'll be ranking Atlantis Rising on it.
All right, so looking at the board here, folks, we've got for Robert at the top, Unsettled, followed by Trajan, followed by Mosaic, Tapestry, Ethnos, Ready, Set, Bet, The Guild of Merchant Explorers, New York 1901, Heat, Skull, Point Salad, Flamecraft, Kites, and Caesar's Empire. And then for my list, I've got Cascadia, Crusaders, Thy Will Be Done, Lost Ruins of Arnak, Furnace, Ethnos, Tapestry, Mosaic, Tiny Epic Kingdoms, New York 1901, Marvel United, Ready, Set, Bet, Caesar's Empire, Guild of Merchant Explorers, and Skull. So that's
Nice.
our update on our... Somebody give
The
us a
big
name.
board. Yeah, the big board.
Somebody at home, throw out there in the Discord or in the Facebook any ideas on what to call this whiteboard of death that we have up there.
Beans and dice something. It's got to be something on theme. Well, we'll come up with something.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all will.
Somebody will have a good idea.
On our platter. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, that gets us past the 10 o'clock hour. We didn't. I was hoping another call would come in and we would take it, but
That's
looks
all right.
like it is the holidays. We know that things are slower, and y'all are focused on family, which matters. So most importantly, I want to wish each and every one of you a safe New Year.
Absolutely.
A safe and happy New Year.
Coming from two insurance guys, yeah, don't be out there doing anything too crazy. So everybody enjoy themselves, but don't burn down any houses. Don't drink and drive. Get into any crazy car crashes.
Otherwise, you're just making more work for us insurance guys.
Exactly. We don't need any more work.
Yeah,
We're busy
we
enough.
don't. So we will be back next week, Thursday, right? As always.
That's the plan.
Every Thursday night.
Yeah. We should be over our hangovers by then. Yeah.
And and we'll have more games played and more games for the board, which we hope you will name. I don't know, man. I'm looking at this board and I'm thinking all these games are good, and I want to get them all played again.
Yeah.
I kind of like having this board up here.
Yeah, and I want to play some of the ones I haven't played on your list, just so I can then compare and maybe rank them up or not put them on my list. Probably why I haven't played them yet. But anyway, yeah.
And we want to congratulate our winner of the Welcome to Tournament, Getty. Thank you so much again.
Yep, Rich.
So prizes coming your way, Rich Yassi. And I think Wooden Spoon went to, and
it was a new player.
It's actually a friend of Wayne.
Right.
So I met up with Wayne this past week, right before Christmas, and I got him the Wooden Spoon. He's going to get it out to his buddy who ended up winning Wooden Spoon. Wooden Spoon is a Blood Bowl thing.
There you go. Yeah.
It's for the last place in a tournament. They walk away with a customized laser-etched wooden spoon, congratulating them on their loss.
Their participation.
Right?
Yeah.
They were there.
It's a
And
participation
for some
prize.
folks, wooden spoon collecting is a thing. Showing up to tournaments, and even if you come in last place, having wooden spoons is a thing. So I wanted to transfer that into our board game tournament, so I'm glad we were able to do that. And I think Diego ended up winning the random prize.
Oh, okay, cool.
So Diego is getting a set of the Christmas ornaments sent to him.
Nice.
That's what he's getting. So we want to thank each and every one of y'all for participating in the Welcome to Tournament, and look forward to you joining the Discord for more tournaments. And tomorrow we might pop on stream live. might
that's a possibility. We're going to be playing right here in the
randomly
studio.
pop on stream live because our buddy Ron Frazier will be in studio live tomorrow.
That'd be fun.
Teaching us Outer Rim.
Yep.
So whenever Robert gets here, I might just turn on the cameras and chat with you folks at home while we play some Outer Rim.
Outer Rim and Atlantis Rising.
So make sure that you ring the bell on whatever system you're watching this on to be notified of when we go live.
Pay attention.
I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
We are the Beans and Dice Podcast, a podcast about
How we game.
We want to thank you for watching. Wish you a happy new year and a good evening. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.